Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. About a year ago, I created a video titled 10 Healthy Habits, where I talk about 10 healthy things that I do that I found to really be helpful for me and my wellness journey that I want to share with you guys, and you guys seem to really like it. But because this year I'm really trying to focus and be more frequent in showing the parts of me that are maybe not so pristine or polished, I thought it'd be a fun idea to create the inverse of that video by calling myself out and a few unhealthy habits that I engage in that I'm really trying to work myself out of. So let's get to it. I hope you guys can relate to some of this. Number 1, negative self-talk. Is this something that you guys suffer from? Because I definitely do. I receive a lot of really nice feedback from you guys that I really do appreciate about, you know, Sam, like, how do you stay so positive all the time? You always seem so happy. But the reality is I feel like I have a tendency to sort of frame things in a more negative light, and I don't know why. Even comments like that, sometimes I'll see them and, you know, it's like, unless you truly believe something or internalize it, it just kind of goes in one ear, out the other. Same thing where, like, if someone says something to you that's kind of negative and you actually kind of deep down have the insecurity and feel like it's true, only then is it triggering for you. The inverse is also true. If someone says something really sweet about you, but you don't necessarily really believe it internally deep down, it's in one ear, out the other. But I've been doing a lot of inner work recently, and really coming to find so much about myself. You know, I'm learning that first and foremost, your thoughts, your thoughts shape our realities. And then it's cyclical, where then our realities that we've then shaped then shape our thoughts. So if over and over you're telling yourself, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm weak, I'm not smart, I'm whatever the negative thing is, tell yourself that over and over, it turns into a belief. And then you see the world based on that belief system. Anyways, I've been really trying hard to break this habit. One of the things that I've been learning to do is, if a negative thought pops into my head, it sounds silly, but I'll literally say, delete, cancel, delete, delete, and then I'll rewrite the thought 3 times over. So I'll say the opposite of whatever that thought is. You know, if I feel like I'm being weak or something, I'll tell myself, no, delete, I am strong. I know I'm strong because I've done X, Y, and Z, and I'll repeat that mantra 3 times over. It sounds ridiculous, but I swear there's science behind this. Before we move on, I wanted to briefly say thank you to today's video sponsor, Fight Camp, a connected at-home boxing gym. With Fight Camp, you get access to world-class boxing and kickboxing trainers, studio-quality equipment, and performance tracking technology, all from the comfort of your home. It's also a great form of convenient stress release, which is really important. Unique combinations keep your mind and body engaged to stay in the present moment, and are designed to deliver an intense, full-body mental challenge in a short period of time. And best of all, you can learn at your own pace. Me, for example, I'm not really a boxer, but I'm still learning how to do it, which is great. Visit the link down below in the description box for more information about Fight Camp packages, and at checkout, just be sure to let them know that it was me who sent you. All right, let's get right back to the video. Okay, number 2 unhealthy habit that I'm really trying to break, people pleasing. And honestly, I didn't even realize how unhealthy of a habit this was until kind of recently, but people pleasing is basically a form, from what I've learned, of self-abandonment. Because you're so focused on meeting the needs of others and making sure that other people like you, that you're actually abandoning and neglecting your own needs. Truly, the amount of times that I've said yes to something, or just allowed someone to sort of bulldoze over my boundary just because I just didn't want to cause any conflict, or I didn't want to be disliked, but I ultimately end up just resenting that person and harboring that inside, which is even has more of an unhealthy outcome in the long term. Learning to say no, again, I'm not great at it, or else I wouldn't be making this video. Learning to say no and having those really clear-cut boundaries, great way to maintain or build self-worth. Having strong boundaries is something else I really need to work on. Number 3, this is the only real physical thing that I'll have on here, because if I'm being totally honest and if I'm being confident in myself, I can confidently say that I do think, for the most part, I do a pretty good job with my physical health. But one area where I've really been lacking recently, at least recently, is hydration. I talked about this in my last video because at that time I was doing a really good job hydrating, this time not so much. There are 2 studies that note that if you're very hydrated, it can actually increase your metabolism by up to 30%. One study in fact showed that 2 cups of water about 30 minutes prior to any sort of meal can actually increase weight loss by 44%, which is wild, and that the optimal time to drink is actually before your meal. Not to mention, if you stay hydrated, it keeps your skin looking nice and fresh. So I should be getting a glass of water right now because I'm parched, which means that I'm already dehydrated. Shoot. Number 4, okay, worrying. This is something that I've been plagued with my whole life. If you're someone who's kind of like me, this looks something like this. Starts out with a triggering thought that invades your mind. That triggering thought then leads to an overthinking of all of the possible outcomes, the negative outcomes that could happen. Then this snowballs into a catastrophizing, worst case scenario mindset. And then finally, your body begins to internalize and your brain begins to internalize that this worst case scenario is almost just inevitable. There's no way of avoiding it. Now, they say that 40% of Americans at least worry every single day, and I really don't doubt that statistic, but at least I know, or we know, that we're not alone in this. It is concerning because people who worry tend to have a much more difficult time actually finding a solution to that worry. The reality is, worrying isn't even, for them, in most cases, won't even stop the bad stuff from happening. All it's doing is preventing you from enjoying the good stuff. Here's a few things that I've been trying to do that has been helping me a little bit with these worrying bad habits. First and foremost, I'll write down the worry. I can't even tell you how long the Notes app in my phone is at this point. Like, every single time I have a worry or some sort of triggering thought, I'll write it down, and immediately I feel a bit more at ease. The second thing is just learning to let it go. Take 3 deep breaths in and out if you're really worried or anxious. You have to let go of things that you simply cannot control. All you can do, you cannot control other people, other circumstances, situations. For the most part, all you can do is control how you internally react to it. So let it go. The happiness of your life really depends on the quality of your thoughts. So free your mind of the worry. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Number 5, procrastination. This is such a bad habit of mine. And it sort of ebbs and flows for me in my life. Really good recently at not doing this, but had you asked me like 3-4 months ago, I was definitely procrastinating. And ultimately what I've come to learn is that procrastination is actually a form of self-sabotage. Kind of something that I'm ashamed to admit, because it's not that I'm just not doing anything, right? It's that I tend to sometimes prioritize the wrong tasks or focusing on the wrong things, or sort of maybe using something as a distraction to enable that procrastination from the thing that's actually important that I really need to get done. Can any of you guys relate to that? Let me know down in the comments. Like I said, procrastination is a form of self-sabotage, and it's actually a self-sabotage that's based on fear. Fear of maybe not being good enough, fear of failure or rejection. A great example of this for me was actually when I launched this channel, my YouTube channel. I can't even tell you. I mean, I had thought about launching a YouTube channel for months, and I kept procrastinating this, pushing it further and further down the line. Why? Fear. I was really nervous. Like, what would you guys think of me? I had never really opened up. I'd never really spoken on camera before. It was always just like photos of me and stuff on Instagram, but I never really showed my personality. That was a really fear-inducing concept for me. When I finally pulled the trigger and did it, I was so happy that I did it because it led me to you guys. Moving forward, what I'm trying to do is identify what those fears are and where they came from, address them ahead of time. So, because in the majority of the cases, I'll come to realize that they're actually not so scary after all. Because again, y'all are the best thing that's ever happened to me. Okay guys, well I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope you can join me on this journey of erasing and working on self-improvement, on some of these unhealthy habits and rectifying them. Let me know if you can relate to any of these. What are some of your unhealthy habits? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up for me. I would really appreciate it. Share it with any friends who you think might benefit from seeing it. And as always, subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me to have you guys around. With that, I'm gonna check out for the day. Ciao. Nos vemos.